Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and today I'm going to show you guys how to embroider this Yellowstone beanie on the Brother PE800. My husband and I have apparently been living under a rock for the last few years because we just found out about the show a little while ago and we've binge watched almost all 4 seasons in the last couple weeks. We only have a few episodes left of season 4. So I am on a Yellowstone kick and I wanted to make myself a beanie. So this is the final product, but I'm going to show you guys step by step how I did it. I even had some placement issues going on with, honestly, I don't know with what, but I got it figured out and I'm going to show you guys how to move your design around in the screen of the Brother PE800 so that you can see and somewhat trace exactly where your design is going to go. So that's useful to know if you have to re-hoop and move and things like that. So it's just a good tip to know. So I'm glad, even though I wish I didn't have placement issues, I'm glad that that happened so I could show you guys how to do that. So what you're going to need is your 5x7 hoop, cutaway stabilizer, your design of choice. I will leave a link below to this design right here. Basting adhesive, your printed out design so that you could place it on your beanie and of course your beanie. And I think that's it. I will leave everything down below too, listed in the description that you need. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, and here we are in Embrilliance, and I've had a few of you ask me how I print from Embrilliance, and it's really simple. I just go up here to the little printer icon up in the top left, click it. My computer's a little slow, and then once it pops up, I just send it to the printer that I want and then hit print, and then we have our printout. Okay, so I have my cutaway stabilizer and I'm just going to put it on my 5x7 hoop. Press it in there and make sure it is really tight. Tighten the screw. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my center point, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys, I lost my plastic thing that goes in the middle that came with it. So I'm just going to use, a ruler. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go from notch to notch and just draw a line and get my center point. And this is going to help me line up the beanie. There we go. So I'm just going to use a pencil. Just very carefully draw a line. And then I'm going to do the same thing going this way. Okay, and so now we have a center point. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my beanie and the design that I printed out, and I'm going to pin it in place where I want it on the beanie. Make sure you don't go to the second layer. Make sure you only pin it on the cuff. Okay, and that is about where I want it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on my hoop, and I'm going to use my crosshairs as my guide to line it up with the crosshairs that I drew on here. So that's really going to be my guide. I'm going to make sure this line lines up with my vertical line, and then I'm going to make sure this line on the side lines up with this notch so that it is perfectly centered on the hoop. So I'm going to spray it with my adhesive and then make sure it's lined up perfectly straight. Hopefully that's not too bright for you guys to see, but I have my straight line up here lined up with that one, and then my horizontal line over here lined up with this line right here. So that is perfectly centered and exactly where I want it. So now I'm going to grab some extra pins and pin the side of the beanie down so that it doesn't move. Okay, so now you can see on the back I have it pinned through, and it is right where I want it. And I have my color ready to go. It looks orange on the camera, but it's like a golden yellow. It is not orange. It's an actual, I think it's pretty darn close to the actual yellow from the show. So I'm going to, let me show you. I'm going to hit this USB button right here in the bottom right. And this just happens to be the only design I have on my USB right now. So I'm going to click it and then set. And then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Because as you can see it on the hoop, this is how I have it, so I don't want it, you know, rotated or anything. The hooks are on the side, so I want it exactly how it shows on the screen. So that is perfect. So then I'm just going to hit OK. And then just to be double sure, I'm going to go to move and then hit center, just to make sure it is exactly centered. And then I'm going to hit edit end, center again, just because I get scared. Okay guys, I apologize if this is super shaky trying to do it with one hand and explain, but I was having some issues lining this up. So as you saw, I printed it, I made my crosshairs, I put it exactly where I want it, but for some reason it still says that even though it's centered on here, my starting point, see the, whoops, if you see the green crosshairs up on the right, it's all the way up here on the right on the beanie. And so obviously that's not centered on the beanie where I want it. So I'm playing around with the different placement options on the PE800, and I thought I would show you, since this is giving me some difficulty, how to know exactly where your stuff is going to stitch. So when you are on the edit screen on the PE800, I have this exactly centered, as you can see. I'm going to hit this icon right here, the little needle and the plus sign. And so this shows me, okay, this green crosshairs is right there. So if I hit center, if I want to see where the machine right now thinks my center point is, I'm going to hit that. And look, it actually messed up my paper. Okay, so that is where it says is my center point. So I need to manipulate this a little bit and move it to where when I have it centered, it's actually centered on my design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to, whoops, I'm going to go to move, move. I'm going to move this over to the left and see what that does. Edit end. Okay, and that actually got it, I don't know if you guys can see that, pretty darn close. I wanted to go up just a little bit to where the needle is centered on the crosshairs. So I'm going to move it. I'm just going to press it one at a time until it is where I want it. And that is pretty darn close. See if I can show you guys. Sorry, this is really weird to do. Focus. Okay, I think that's as close as I'm gonna get. So that is pretty darn close. So if I go back to this icon and I hit the upper right and I want to see where it now thinks the upper right is, that's pretty darn close. So I think we're good. We're gonna go for it and see what happens. As you can see, I already messed up on the other side of this beanie. I'm gonna use my my seam ripper and get that off, because when I tried to do this before, it was completely messed up and I was like, what the heck is happening right now? Like, I have it centered. This is like, I've done this so many times, so I don't know why it's not now, but I can't be the only person that's ever run into this issue, so I just wanted to show you guys how I'm fixing it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to, now that I have it where I think I want it, I'm going to take this off and put on my water soluble stabilizer. And then I'm going to just with my hands gently hold this out of the way while it stitches. We're going to go to OK, embroidery. and it says it's going to take 9 minutes, so I'm just going to do a time lapse, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, now we're going to take the pins out and take it off the hoop and fold it up and see what it looks like. Okay, and I'm going to trim the stabilizer on the back and obviously be very, very careful to not cut the beanie. Okay, and now we're going to fold the cuff up, and this is what it looks like. I think it turned out great, you guys. So here it is up close, you guys. I think it turned out great. There are some spots where there's like little jump stitches in the middle that I can't quite get with my scissors, so I'm going to go through with my seam ripper and just get the real tiny ones. But I think that turned out great, and the placement is great, so I'm really glad I was able to just manipulate it in the PE800 screen and get it exactly where I wanted it, because I don't think it could get much more perfect, guys. It looks amazing. Here's what the back looks like. So I love it, you guys. What do you think? Okay guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned a lot from my mistakes and that the placement tool on the PE800 was useful to you. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if it was, or just say hi, because I love that too. And I will see you guys in my next video.